Today we're going to talk about one of the foundation pieces of safety in trucking, and we're going to look at a video with a lot going on. Hello, welcome, Safety Update with me, Sam. I am Sam. For those of you who don't know, I am the safety supervisor for Meiborg and Silver Arrow. Thank you very much for watching this. I know that you don't necessarily have to, but a lot of you do, and I could see with the metrics and all that kind of stuff, and thank you very much. This is really a great way for me to communicate with all of you at once, and I just appreciate you guys taking the 10-15 minutes out of your day to sit down and watch us and even give feedback. If you missed the last video, you know that in an upcoming video here soon, we're going to be talking, or we're going to do a thing called Ask a Shop Guy. And I don't know exactly who that shop guy is yet, but you guys, I asked for questions and you guys have given me a bunch of questions. And so I'm kind of putting those all together, and hopefully next week is when I'm planning on doing that for next week's video. But if that doesn't happen, because you know, sometimes those shop guys will get busy, and so sometimes the scheduling just gets a little tough. So hopefully next week we'll get it done, but if not, it'll be very, very soon. So if you do still have questions, make sure to reach out to me. My contact information is at the bottom. You can email me, text me your questions, whatever you got, and I'll make sure that we ask the shop guys those questions. Or if we have too many questions, we'll do a follow-up part to it as well, because I really don't like to make these videos too long, because then you guys lose interest, and I get it. We live in a society now where our attention spans are very short, and I try to do my best to keep you engaged, and I've realized it's probably only about 15 minutes at the absolute max that I can do that, and that's nothing on you. That's just how it works. So we try to keep these short, so if we get too many questions, we'll do a follow-up, and I'm sure we will do a follow-up anyways, because like I said, we've already gotten a lot of questions. So if you have them, send them in to me, and we'll take care of that. So one thing I want to talk to you about, and you know how I said in previous videos that we're laying the foundation for safety. And there's a lot of times where, and I apologize if this video is maybe a little redundant for you, but it's always a good reminder. One of the foundations, the foundation with safety is the CSA. So that is how the federal government grades our trucking company, between the two of them, Silver Arrow and Meiborg. And I tell this in orientation, but a lot of you were here before I got into orient, or before I did the orientation for you. There you go. I'll get it eventually. And so maybe you haven't heard my spiel on the CSA. But that, like I said, that is how the government grades our trucking company. And I know sometimes you guys all feel like you're alone out there on the road. You're by yourself. Maybe you got a dog. Maybe you have a companion. I don't know. But the government looks at our trucking companies as a whole. So if I tell the guys in orientation, if you have the mindset that it's like, okay, I'll get one speeding ticket this year, that, you know, that's fine, or one violation, whatever. We'd have like almost 180 violations, maybe even a little more violations in that. And that's not good. That would not look good on our CSA score. So we try to make sure we keep that all to a minimum. And how do we keep our CSA scores low? It's by passing our roadside inspections, or passing any side or any inspection. That's how we keep the CSA scores low. And in reality, they're not even scores, they're percentages. And as long as we don't go above the threshold on our percentages, then we are good. So there's 7 different categories, and I'm going to break down the different categories in future videos. I'm not going to go too much in depth with them, but just kind of give you an overview on what the categories are. But there are 7 different categories in the CSA program. They are talking about maybe reducing them or combining a couple, but for right now, as of today, it's 7 different categories. And each category has a threshold that we can't go over. And we are, as a company, we are put into a pool of like-sized companies. So, you know, Meiborg has, I don't know exactly the number right now, but Meiborg's got like 100 trucks. So we are put into a pool of other companies that have around 100 trucks. And out of that, then we are graded against those other companies. And so the federal government sets a standard for what they want. And for things like unsafe driving, there's other ones like driver fitness. The standard is they want you to be under 65%, meaning they want they want you to be in the bottom 64%. If you go over 65%, that means you're worse than 65% of the companies in your pool. So I've seen at different companies, like they were at the 80% threshold or even 90% threshold. That means that they are in the top 10% of worst companies in that certain category. And that's not where you want to be. You definitely don't want to be there. And so the way you don't go above those thresholds is you do good on your inspections. Now, here's the deal. Like I said, there's 7 different categories. If you're over the threshold in one category, work on it, okay? We need to work on it, get yourself back underneath of it. But typically, you're not really on anybody's radar. If you go over the threshold on 2 categories, now the DOT and the FMCSA might start paying attention to you, okay? In the form of a letter or something like that, just saying, hey, you're kind of on our radar. If you go over the threshold in 3 categories, you should be expecting an audit. The DOT is really going to be looking at you going, you are an unsafe company. So if you go over 4 or 5 minutes, then you're really in for it with an audit. And the audits have changed recently too, thanks to COVID. They don't necessarily come in to your establishment anymore unless they really think there's some issues, but they'll do what they call an online audit or an off-site audit. And that's basically, they give you 48 hours to get everything that they want to see and send it off to them, because everything's digitized now. So we really don't want to do that. Now, in full transparency here, Meiborg brothers, if you drive for Meiborg, we're under the threshold in everything, okay? We're not over the threshold anywhere. If you drive for Silver Arrow, we are over the threshold in that entity in the unsafe driving category, meaning we're speeding, we're doing unsafe lane changes, things like that, okay? Now, we're not very far over it, but we are over the threshold. And actually, we have been in a good trajectory down, but we are still over it. So what does that mean? That means we need to make sure that we're following the speed limit. We're using our turn signals whenever we do. We're obeying the rules of the road. That's what that means, okay? And how do we do that? It's by getting inspections. And if you drive for Silver Arrow, you have probably realized that you're getting pulled in to inspections a lot more than maybe even the Meiborg guys if you've talked to them. And that is because of the ISS score, the Inspection Selection System score. For Silver Arrow, it's high because we are over the threshold on some things. For Meiborg, it's pretty low. And so the higher the score on the ISS, the more we will be pulled in and the more we will be inspected. Now, that's not a bad thing, okay? I don't want you to hear that that's a bad thing. I want to get inspected. You should want to get inspected on the Silver Arrow thing. Yes, I know it takes time to do it. I get it, that it slows you down. I get it. Don't worry about that. But the more inspections we get and the more inspections that we pass, that score will continue to go down, okay? So we want to be inspected. We want to pass those inspections so the score will go down so that in the future, we don't get pulled in. Cool? Does that make sense? That means we don't get inspected. So if you're a Silver Arrow driver, we are over in unsafe driving. Let's work to get that down. Follow the speed limit. Make sure we're doing proper lane changes. Make sure we're in the proper lanes. You know, there's some lane restrictions. So make sure we're following the rules of the road, and that will continue to go down. Cool? All right. If you have questions about that, feel free to contact me. And like I said, in future videos, we're going to go over some of the different categories and how they affect everything and what we need to watch on for that. Okay? But that was just kind of an overview of the CSA and how that kind of works. Again, if you have questions about that, feel free to let me know, and I'll be more than happy to talk your ear off about how it works and how we can continue to improve in it. So, all right, cool. My contact information is at the bottom. All right, now let's watch some dash cam footage. Okay, here we are. I think we're out on the East Coast. It looks very East Coast-y. But like I said at the beginning of the video, there's a lot going on in this one. We'll take and you'll see what I mean here in a second. So we'll just hit play right now. You know, we're going fairly slow, nothing too crazy going on, which is fine. You know, the driver's being cautious. He's leaving plenty of room between him and that car in front of him, which is fantastic. Oh yeah, New York. I see the sign New York. Yeah, okay. So now here we are. We've got a truck coming out. We have a Tesla right next to us, and we have a lane that ends. And there's a truck on the side of the road. You see what I mean by, like, there's a lot going on in this video. So let's back it up and let's process this a little bit. So one thing, he's in the middle lane. Now we see right here, that lane is ending. Now we can see up front here, we see the semi-truck on the side of the road. We see a pickup truck coming out, making kind of a bad decision by coming out there, which forces that Tesla to slow down a little bit, which puts him right with our front wheel. And now he's kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place between our semi-truck and this Serta semi-truck on the side here. So what can we do? This is what I'm talking about when I'm saying look ahead. Okay, we're looking ahead to see what's going on. We can see that right there that pickup truck is going to be pulling out. So at this moment, what we should be doing as a semi-truck driver is getting off the gas, okay, and maybe even getting on the brakes a little bit here, because that lane is run out. Yes, the Tesla is in front of us, but again, we've seen this time and time again that people in cars don't necessarily make the best decisions, and this Tesla is one of them. He could be speeding up or whatever, but instead they slam on their brakes because, you know, the pickup truck probably shouldn't have pulled out in that situation, because he's pulling out kind of by a car there. So he pulls out, the pickup truck doesn't speed up, the Tesla slams on their brakes, which causes our driver to slam on his brakes. And luckily there was no one close enough in the lane next to us, because that Jersey barrier is there, and that would have slammed a person right into that. So a lot going on in this situation. What I want to convey, did the driver necessarily do anything wrong in this situation? It depends on how you look at it. Like I said, there's a lot going on. And as the driver of a semi-truck, it's unfortunately up to you guys to make sure that the roads, I don't want to say it's up to you guys to make sure the roads are safe, but you guys have the highest perspective. And as we've seen in multiple Dashcam videos before, you know that the guys in the car, the ladies, the drivers of the cars, are not going to make the right decisions when it comes to situations like this. They don't see situations like this very often. You guys do. Unfortunately, you guys do. So in a situation like that, you see the pickup truck, you got to make sure that you're watching that Tesla. Yes, they probably could have sped up, and maybe should they have even passed it. So right now, just get over. Tesla, get over. They didn't get over. They hit their brakes. You know, I kind of want to put the blame on the Tesla in this one. They should have gotten over in front of our truck. Now, they shouldn't have brake checked our truck, which is what they were probably going to do, but they shouldn't have slammed on the brakes right there. If everyone would have just kept accelerating, it probably would have been fine. But in a situation like this is what I'm talking about when I say look ahead, because you got that semi-truck on the shoulder, you got a pickup truck coming out, you got a Tesla right next to you. This is one where you just don't want to put yourself in a bad situation. So maybe the best thing to do would just be back off, ease off, let these car drivers kind of figure out what they're doing, because God only knows what they are doing. And I don't know what's up with the Serta guy. Maybe he was supposed to turn here and he missed it. I don't know why he's on the side of the road, but he just adds an extra element into this situation. Now you got a semi on the side, truck coming out, Tesla in front of you, and none of them seem to be making the right decision. So for you guys, don't put yourself in a bad situation. Just back her down, try to anticipate what the other vehicles are doing. If everything merges out and everyone goes fine, okay, fine, cool. You backed her off a little bit, now you can accelerate back into it. No harm, no foul. But if the situation turns into what happened here, where the truck doesn't accelerate, the Tesla slams on their brakes, and we almost sideswipe them, that's when it's time to back her off a notch and just let them sort it out, okay? And again, don't know why the Serta guy's on the side. Maybe he fell asleep because it's a Serta, match it, and never mind. But anyways, in a situation like this, it's best just to anticipate that they're not going to do it right. Back her down, okay? Just back her down. Take your foot off the accelerator. Let them figure out what they're going to do, and then you can get back into it. Because this Tesla could have merged in, but they didn't. And the truck shouldn't have pulled out, but they did. Again, nothing we haven't seen before. They're making bad decisions. So anyways, but feel free to let me know what you would have done in a situation like this. I'm not here to necessarily tell you the right things and what you should be doing. But I like doing these Dashcam videos because you guys like to give me your opinion, and it helps educate me too. You know, I'm not in the trucks like you guys are. So what should have been done in this situation? Should we have backed off? Should we try to change lanes? Should we have accelerated? I understand, you know, the rules of merging and stuff like that. But again, as we have seen time and time again, cars don't care about the rules of merging. We're the ones that need to kind of keep an eye out for them. you know, as fortunate or unfortunate, how you want to see it, we're kind of the ones that need to be careful. So anyways, what would you do in this situation? I'm all ears. I'm more than happy to listen and discuss it with you. But until then, until we reach out again, thank you for watching this video. Again, my contact information is at the bottom. Feel free to reach out to me. I know you will. So that's cool. And as always, like we see in there, make sure that you drive safe.